I really feel like people are really doing their best to make it in life. And I think I'm somehow getting to Trump and helping him become a better man, you know? And I think that's the goal. If you believe in God, God says, if you only love people that love you, then what is really love? You have to have a much deeper compassion, because the reason God said that is because he sees people for what they are and not what they do, not the decisions that they make and their flaws, because that's the only way he can change you to be a better person. And he knows people are lost, and the only way, I can see why people are lost, because it's the only way they can pull God. Because God is the doctor and he's the healer. And in order to to go to the doctor, you need to be sick. And that's a lot of the reasons why people are sick. And so they can keep God closer. God created a lot of creatures. He didn't just create humans. I mean, this man is amazing. This man made animals. He made dogs. Aren't you guys curious at what he looks like? And now God wants us to behave because he knows the things that are causing illnesses, right? Whenever you guys have same-sex marriages and same-sex intercourse, now listen, your decision. Again, don't shoot the messenger. I don't judge you, your decision, but I do have to do my part. So whenever you guys do that, a lot of people get led astray, and they end up marrying someone with a disease, someone with AIDS, and people are not being more careful in the LGBT community with other people. They're not being honest if they have AIDS. They're not being forward. It is time. Your disease doesn't define your future, but your disease can affect other people if you're not telling them about it. They, by law, it should be written to tell them if you have one. This is what my body is telling me, and I think you should be careful, because I know that when I was in a shelter in Houston, I would drink off of people because I was like, can I have some, you know what I mean? Some water, where we're all homeless. And he said, oh no, don't drink. He was a white guy. He said, oh no, because he has AIDS. And I said, oh my God, thank you so much for telling me. Thank you wow. We would have traded saliva, and just like that, suddenly the disease is spread. And how could the government keep this a secret? How can they you should wear a badge, And it does, and the reason why they don't do it is because if they do it, other people start threatening people with HIV's lives, and the goal is to try to help them live, to see if they could find a cure for AIDS, right? So they want to make sure, if the disease was to ever enter in the world ever, that they could find an actual cure, and that's why you have it, if you have it. So it's just, every bad thing that happens in life is to prepare you to live, to be a defense mechanism, right? So you can be a doctor. God is not the only healer. Jesus is not the only healer. It was all to give you a chance to exercise your power, to exercise your ability, to exercise your strength. But being honest is one of the most important things that you can do for everyone, right? And coming out on TV and telling people your truth will help you get the support. There's so many great people fighting and going through whatever you might be going through, and they want to support you. They want to get you the food that you need. I mean, if you want to heal from that disease, you need to eat a plant-based meal. You need to eat nothing but plant, because the reasons you guys are sick is because you're eating sick food, dead animals. that are promoting illnesses in your body, right? Because what you're doing, I don't want to be mean, is actually in the eyes of the universe and the eyes of God is a sick act. And when it's a sick act, sickness happens to you. It's the universe just telling you this is sick. This is sick. This is sick. So remember when I told you the succubus spirit of my ex-birth mother raping me in the spirit, having thoughts, my body was telling me this behavior is sick. That's all it's saying. And God is speaking through, use that voice to speak through me. This is sick and it's going to kill you. And you know why? Because it goes against procreation. And the devil works through people in his own mysterious ways because he doesn't want people to exist. So when you go to church and you collect and you're a pastor and you fail to educate people about their behavior, it's not that you want to keep poking them about it. Don't focus on the money that you're going to make. You might lose people, but you have to remind them. From time to all the time, make it a school. When something is as serious as threatening their lives, it's not an harassment. It's like it's like educating people is so important that they made school a disease. Like you have to educate. Without education, you're gonna fail. People are gonna rape you. They're gonna take everything from you. You need this education to survive. You need your significant other to survive. Everybody has a twin. Everybody, maybe not everybody has a twin. I don't know if everybody really has a twin. That's what I heard. But everybody has a significant other because God said it is not good for man to be alone. He never said that. He said, for every man, I don't know if it said that in the Bible, every man, but he says, for a man, I made you a partner. Now, the universe is like a mathematics problem. Sometimes you have to go through life before you find your actual partner. You end up dating other partners. And some people became gay because someone was alone, because that person was raped. They were abused. And they were led to believe that they were gay. They were touched the wrong way, and somehow down the line, it felt good. And they were confused. That's what I was like. Whenever this woman was raping me, there is no day it felt fucking good. I hated it. But I was praying in my head, what if I could just pray that it felt good so I don't have to hurt? Because I don't want to feel this way. But I didn't want to enjoy it. This is what it feels like when people get raped. Their body is confused. You're touching them and you're taking their virginity. And you're their father and mother. I had guys confessing to me, telling me my dad did this to me. My dad did, and I tried to explain psychologically what's going on to the father. It was this white guy. He comes up to me and we met homeless, and he said, I don't know if I don't think his penis was hard, but he said his dad reached over and touched his balls, his dick. And I said, really? And he said, yeah. I was like, what's going on in my family? They put me on the bed and they put a gun out, and I was like, really? And he said he ran away from home. And we met, and I got in the car with him and we talked, and I sort of explained, well, maybe your dad was it was a power thing. Sometimes when you're more powerful, someone loses their willpower. Doesn't mean go back home, but when you don't have nowhere else to go, if you go in the streets, they're going to take your shit. The streets, they got the thugs and stuff, and they're going to give you weed, marijuana. So you have to choose. That's why I'm saying America needs to build more programs so people can have a place to run to, and tell us your story. Be honest so you can get the help that you need. I did.